Good morning to you. Mark Suttle with HurricaneTrack.com here with your hurricane outlook and discussion for Saturday morning, the 15th day of September 2018. Let's take a look here at a wide shot of the Atlantic Basin as we set the stage for all the things I need to discuss with you. The deep tropics out here probably closed for business for the rest of the year. Maybe something comes out of this, but I think that what we just saw with that burst will just about do it for the main development region. Our focus is going to become more highlighted on this area in the coming weeks, which is naturally what tends to happen. This is the remnants of Isaac through here. Maybe some chance for regeneration as it moves this way, but I'm not seeing much indication of that now. Heavy rain continuing over parts of Texas and northern Mexico from what was once Invest Area 95L. It never did get off the ground as terms of being a full-on tropical storm, but bringing heavy rain nonetheless. And of course here we have Tropical Storm Florence, still stuck, generally speaking, right here over northeast South Carolina with the center of circulation, but all that upward motion that you see right there, that deep convection coming off the Atlantic, very, very big trouble for eastern North Carolina. So let's take a look at the latest stats on Florence just real quick. From the 8 a.m. Eastern Time intermediate advisory, winds are about 50 miles per hour, so it's still breezy out there. Pressure 989 millibars, so still a very low pressure, which is allowing the air to converge and rise and create all of that rainfall that we are seeing in the Carolinas this morning. As a result, look at all of the reds, which are flash flood warnings, and then you have the green areas, which are flash flood watches, all the way into the Appalachians, into the upstate of South Carolina, southern Virginia, southwest Virginia. Almost every every county in North Carolina is under some kind of a flood advisory or warning, with the exception of the border counties up here with Virginia. Almost all of North Carolina's 100 counties, and it looks like it's pretty much all of South Carolina's 100 counties in some kind of a advisory situation related to the storm. So impacting millions of people from the coast to the Sandhills, the Piedmont, and then to the Appalachians. A major event unfolding still as Florence is stuck over parts of South Carolina in the northeast part of the state there. This is the radar out of Morehead City. Unfortunately, the one in Wilmington is having communications issues again. And this shows a very, very unnerving pattern. Luckily, things are drying out just a little bit. We don't see that banding as thick and as prevalent as it was for Craven County and Carteret County. That's New Bern, down to Morehead City area, Beaufort, on out to like Cedar Island. And the same is generally true out here for the Outer Banks. However, down in Onslow and especially Pender and getting into Hanover County eventually, this band through here is very, very concerning to me, as it'll bring several inches of rain per hour and thunderstorms and the threat of tornadoes. So as this moves in across the coastal areas, Topsail Beach, Surf City, and then advances as the overall storm shifts very slowly, this band will eventually set up right over Wilmington and Carolina Beach and Burgaw inland, Duplin County, Wallace, Rose Hill, all those areas inland. Amazing amounts of rainfall that are going to break records. So don't go anywhere if you absolutely don't have to. You're going to have to just stay home, and if the water starts rising, get higher, use your common sense to save yourself, okay? A very dangerous, catastrophic flooding situation setting up, and we can see that reflected here on the National Weather Service streams, rivers, and rainfall, or whatever it is, where you see all the gauges. And let me show you real quick how you get to this page. I do want to back out. I want you to go to weather.gov. I showed you that a minute ago. Weather.gov, and then when you're at weather.gov, weather.gov, click on Rivers, Lakes, Rainfall, right there in the middle, and it'll take you to this master page, this big map showing all of the gauges across the United States, and there are a lot of them. And then you can just scroll down. For example, if you're interested in North Carolina, which I certainly am, you give it a moment to populate the map, and you can see all of the stream gauges, the river gauges, ocean tide gauges, etc. And then it's interactive. You can move and scroll around. And I'm going to zoom in here to eastern North Carolina. The purples are major flooding happening, 3 gauges in major flood stage, 6 are moderate, so forth and so on. And then what you can do, you can mouse over these little icons. For example, the Neuse River at Smithfield going to crest at 18.4 feet. Not quite to major flooding, so good news for Smithfield. What about over here? This gauge, Cape Fear River at Lillington, 22.9 feet, also not major. So that's good news. We go down here to the Fayetteville area. Cape Fear River at Fayetteville, major flood stage, and only about 6 feet below the historic crest of all time. Little River at Manchester will obliterate the crest of all time, which is 29 feet, peaking at 35.4 feet Sunday into Monday. So this becomes absolutely terrifying. And if you click on it, you can get an idea of where this is located on the map. That's the gauge. So all of the area around this map, on this map around that gauge, is going to flood catastrophically. And if we look and see the key here over on the left-hand side, sorry, just trying to highlight this for you, this tells you what happens when the water reaches different levels. Just incredible flooding that's going to affect a lot of people. So you can look at this map yourself, weather.gov, streams, lakes, rainfall, whatever it says, lakes, rivers, rainfall, and mouse over any of these areas that you're interested in. Cape Fear River near Chinkapin, going to break the record by about 3 feet into South Carolina. Little PD River at Gallivant's Ferry. Next week, several days from now, this will be rising. The one near Conway is very, very disconcerting, and I'm going to try to get a camera system there maybe tomorrow, and maybe as late as Monday, because it's going to take a while. But this is forecast to be, the record is 17.9 feet. This is going to predicted to crest at 19.1 feet and still rising. It's off the edge of the chart over there. And if we look at this real quick as an example, yeah, it's off the edge of the chart. And the flood of record in that area was in 2016, 17.87 feet. And that is from Matthew. This will beat Matthew. So you guys remember that? Sure. And this is going to beat Matthew by a couple of feet. And how horrible does that sound? It really is. So you have to be ready for this. Evacuate. If you know that your area flooded before, do it. Just go ahead and go. It's painful. It's stressful. My family's in Greensboro. Our house is doing okay down in the Wilmington area near Kings Grant. But how much rain can we take? If that band that I showed you here, you bet that I'm worried about it. My house is just like right there where I'm got the blue dot drawn. That's a very close approximation. Do I want 3 inches of rain per hour or higher? How much can I take at my place? I do not know. By the way, I'm in Greensboro because I needed infrastructure to continue working and analyzing things. I'll be leaving here in just a little while to go back down to New Bern and try to get some aerial video of the situation there now that the weather is cooperating a little bit better. But then I got to try to get back over to Wilmington somehow to my house, check on things there. And so I hear you, but I'm nowhere near as in dire straits as people that are going to be having to evacuate their homes because the water's going to rise 20 to 30 feet near where they live, or 5 to 10 feet, or just 3 to 5 feet, and it ruins everything you've got. I understand. And so I'm trying to make sure you get the best information focused on the catastrophic impact that is unfolding now and that will unfold in the days to come. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this guy, with the tools that he has at his disposal, told us that what we just saw happen was coming weeks before it happened. And there were others out there that saw the pattern changing, Joe Bastardi as well. And so Ben Knoll is going to be my go-to guy for this pattern recognition signal, a big red light, green light, whatever you want to call it, a flashing light. Then in this case, he's got a rising motion happening. Let's stop that just for a second. As it says, the Gulf of Mexico could be a hot spot. The way that this particular map works, if we scroll down just a little bit, this is your time through here. This is the present, where we are now. The brown areas up there, you can just basically say, okay, look at this brown right through here, and that's from now until through the 16th, 18th of September. Where is that located? That's located here on the map, roughly. So brown is not favorable, and we're going to have this period of time starting now, and then it gets a little bit favorable in the Gulf of Mexico, and then that ends around the 25th to 26th of September, and then basin-wide, all of this green sets up shop pretty much all across the Atlantic Basin, with sort of your darker colors, your hot spots, if you will, of enhanced rising motion focused right there, Western Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, maybe off the East Coast. So it's still hurricane season. We have to make sure we don't forget that hurricanes do not care if you have been hit already somewhere else. There is no, please don't hit them while they're down, and last year was a great example of that, unfortunately. All right, well, that's all I've got for now, which I think is pretty sobering. A rough look at, it's hard to talk about this. It's so many people are going to be impacted by this that it's truly overwhelming. It really is. We have this deep passion of tracking the weather. Some people just hate it, and I understand, but most people are really fascinated by the weather. You see, hold on, let me get that. It's my wake-up alarm. My fault. Most people, you see all these pictures, and I'll finish with this slight commentary. You see pictures of shelf clouds, pictures of lightning, and everybody's into the weather, almost everybody. It's fascinating to watch. We love a good snowstorm, but snowstorms kill people. Ice storms kill people. We see a waterspout offshore. We take pictures. People go on tours to view tornadoes. Tornadoes ruin and end lives. But when it comes to hurricanes, they are so all-encompassing. We see them coming for days. We give them names. It's almost like we get to know them. They have a personality. And then when they're bad enough, we retire them off the list like the jersey number of a famous athlete. You think about where I am up in North Carolina, Tobacco Road. What about all the jerseys that are retired and the different basketball arenas? I was getting ready to single some out, but I'll stay nonpartisan. But in all seriousness, these hurricanes affect so much more than any singular weather event does. They really do. The only thing close to this are the huge nor'easters or the major tornado outbreaks like April 16th and 27, and 2011, the 16th and the 27th. Those massive F5 tornadoes, Tuscaloosa, elsewhere. You remember, Joplin, Missouri was another time and another day, Greensburg, Kansas. You remember. But those geographically are small events. Hurricanes much larger, and a lot of people are being impacted. So I've got your back as best I can on this side, and I'll keep trying to post what I can when I can. Communications are difficult. I probably will have to rely on coming back to the Piedmont and at least getting on my LTE signal from our vehicle so I can continue to work. All right, well, that is it from me for now from Greensboro, North Carolina. I'll be heading back into the New Bern area over the next few hours, and anything that I can get aerial video-wise, I will share with the Weather Channel and have them hopefully air it so people can see on a broad scale, and then try to upload that as well to YouTube and publish that for everybody to see as well. Trying to help out so people can see what they need to see, even if it's bad news. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. Thanks for watching as always. Thank you for your support. I'll have more information for you as time goes on.